Hello, you're welcome to Royale Tutors, and my name is Damilola, and I would love to bring to you this day multiples. Lest we forget, don't forget to subscribe and like our videos, share the video, and register your children. And as a student, register with us to be a part of our tutoring, and I can be so sure I can tell you for free that you will enjoy your time with us because every concept of mathematics and science and ELA or English that you are having issues with, you will surely find solution to them. So this day we are learning multiples. I say it what? Multiples. Now let's learn what multiples are. Let's learn how can we generate multiples of a number and so on and so forth. Now let's look at it. What are multiples? What are multiples? Multiples of a number, that is a number, imagine the number to be x, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5, it can be 6. But what are the multiples of a number? The multiples of a number are those numbers that you get from the product of the number multiplied by integers. That is, integers, I mean positive integers now, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Those are integers. At least they are positive integers, and when you multiply them by a particular number, you are able to generate the multiples of the number. That is, when you multiply a particular number by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, by 7, by 8, and so on and so forth, you would be able to generate the multiples of that particular number. So that is what it means by multiples. Now let's look at this. This, for example, when you have 4 times 8 equals to 32. 4 times 8 equals to 32. What does that mean? It means that 32 is a multiple of 4 and 8. So when you multiply 4 by 8, you get the multiple which is called 32. Meaning that if you are listing the multiples of 4, 32 is there. And when you are listing the multiples of 8, 32 is also there. That is the meaning. Now, there are some things you need to know about generating your multiples and identifying the multiples of a number. Number one, multiples of a number does not end. It has the infinite model, infinite facts about multiples. Number one, a number has continuous number of multiples because you can multiply it by any whole number, and you know that whole numbers are infinite. So that means you can always generate multiples and multiples of a number by just multiplying that number by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, and you continue and on and on and on. So it does not end. So that means you can always and continuously generate multiples of a particular number. Then a number is a multiple of itself. That is it. So 7 is a multiple of 7. As a matter of fact, 7 is the first non-zero multiple of itself. Don't worry, I will explain that as we continue in this video. Greater than or equal to fact. You need to also understand that the multiples of a number are equal to the number and greater than the number, because when you begin to generate 7 times 1, you get 7, which is equal to 7 itself. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 is greater than 7. 7 times 3 is 21, which is greater than 7. 7 times 4 is 28, which is also greater than 7. So that means for every non-zero number, its multiples are always greater than it or equal to that number. They are greater than or equal to that number. So for example, the multiples of 5 are 5, which is equal to 5, 10, which is greater than 5, 15, which is greater than 5. So that is what I'm saying. So there are what? Greater than or equal to facts about numbers. Then also facts also know continuous does. The number 0 fact. You need to understand 0 as a multiple of every number too. 0 as a multiple of every number. What does that mean? 0 is a multiple of every number since 0 multiplied by any number is 0. 0 multiplied by any number is 0. So know that 0 is a multiple of every number. However, the first non-zero multiple starts with the number itself. Now, we also have divisibility fact about multiples. That is, if a number q is a multiple of a number p, then that means q is divisible by p without remainder. Let me give you an example so that it won't look too abstract. For example, 32 is a multiple of 8. True. We said that earlier. 32 is a multiple of 8. That means 32 divided by 8 will give you 4 without remainder. So every multiple of a number, that number can divide them without remainder. When you generate your list of multiples, it means that number can divide every of its multiples without any remainder. So I believe you understood all the facts of multiples that we've learned so far. Now let's see how to list our multiples. Steps involved in listing our multiples. Number one, remember that what? 0 is a multiple of every non-zero integer. So let's list the multiples that are 0. So we have 2 times 0 is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, 34 times 0 is 0, because 0 is a multiple of every number. These are just examples. Then the next thing is to know what the first non-zero multiple of a number is gotten by multiplying the number by 1. The first non-zero, we have generated zeros. Now the first non-zero multiple of a number is gotten by multiplying the number by 1. That is, we take 2, 3 and 34 as a case study. That is, for example, so we generated the 0 multiples of 2, of 3 and of 34. Now we want to generate our first non-zero multiple, which is generated by multiplying by 1. Now let's get to see it. So 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 1 is 3, then 34 times 1 is 34. Now let's continue. The second non-zero multiple of a number is gotten by multiplying by 2. That is, multiplying that same number by 2. So using our case study again, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, and 34 times 2 is 68. So you see how we generate multiples now. The first multiple, we all know that 0 is a multiple of every number. Then we'll continue by generating the first non-zero, which is multiplying by 1, the second non-zero, which is multiplying by 2. If you want to go to the third non-zero, you multiply by 3, and so on and so forth. So remember that what every number has infinite number of multiples. I have explained that to you, that you can always multiply a number continuously by numerous numbers, and you continue on and on and on to generate the multiples of that number, so it doesn't end. That's why we say it is what? It is infinite. It is what? Infinite. So we can continue on and on and on to generate the multiples of 2 by saying 0, we get 2, but by multiplying by 1, we get 4 by multiplying by 2, we get 6 by multiplying by 3, we get 8 by multiplying by 4, we get 10 by multiplying by 5, and we continue by saying 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. It continues. So that's why we say that what? To generate multiples of a number, you multiply continuously by so many numbers, positive integers, and you generate the multiple. Now let's continue. Let's look at examples of multiples of a number, and we generate that by multiplying by let's get the multiples of 1. What are the multiples of 1? We generate by 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 5 is 5, and we continue up to generate 8, 9, 10, 11, and let's stop at 12. So these are the multiples of 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And they are generated by multiplying by numbers. Now let's look at another example, multiples of 2. So to generate multiples of 2, we multiply by 0 to get 0, by 1 to get 2, by 2 to get 4, by 3 to get 6, by 4 to get 8, by 5 to get 10, by 6 to get 12, by 7 to get 14, by 8 to get 16, and we get 18, 20, and 22. So that is it. Then let's check another by 20, 12 to get 24, and then let's look at another example. Multiples of 3. Multiples of 3. So we have what? We have 3 times 0, we get 0, times 1, we get 3, times 2, we get 6, times 3, we get 9, times 4, we get 12, times 5, we get 15, times 6, we get 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, and we got 36 by multiplying by 12. So those are the multiples of 3. Then we have multiples of 4. We can reach the same process, the same step, by 0 to get 0, by 1 to get 4, by 2 to get 8, by 3 to get 12, by 4 to get 16, by 5 to get 20, and we continue to get 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, and 48, which is by multiplying by 12. So these are the multiples of 4. You may continue on and on and on. You may decide to try this, the list of multiples of 5. You can try to write that in your book and see if you understood or if you know how to generate your list of multiples. However, you can take a minute and then continue to check if your answers are correct. But these are multiples of 5. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60, which is gotten by multiply by 12. So you get your list of multiples of 5. Let's continue to also check multiples of 6. Hold on, pause the video, and check if you are able to generate the list of multiples of 6. However, this is the correct answer. 6 by 0 gives 0. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. So these are multiples of 6. Also, let's take a short drill. Can you list the multiples of 8? If it is a yes, try it out. If it is a no, try it out as well, and see how best you've been improving in the course of the video. So quickly check and then take a minute or two, do the short drill, and then come back to see if you are correct. Now you're welcome back. These are the answers. We have 8 by 0 to get 0, 8 by 1 to get 8, 8 by 2 to get 16, 8 by 3 to get 24, we get 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, and 96, which is gotten by multiplying by 12. So these are the multiples of 8. Now let's look at common multiples. Let's look at common multiples. What do you mean by common multiples? Common multiples are numbers, that is multiples, that 2 or more numbers share. That is, they have it in common. That is, it is mutual. That is, A has it, B also has it. So those are common multiples basically. Now let's see. Multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 66, 72, 78, and so on and so forth. Then let's generate the multiples of 8. The multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and so on and so forth. Now you will notice something that I gave a special color to some numbers there, and those are 24. But what do you notice? 24 appears both as a multiple of 6 and as a multiple of 8. So that means 24 is a common multiple of 6 and 8. 48 as well is a common multiple of 6 and 8. 72 is also a common multiple of 6 and 8. 96 is a common multiple of 6 and 8. So what do you notice? That means these are the multiples of 6 and 8. Let's list them out. So the common multiples of 6 and 8 are 24, 48, 72, and 96, and so on and so forth. It continues. However, let me show you something. What do you notice? There's a pattern formed. The first multiple is 24. The second multiple is 48. What do you notice? 48 is double of 24. That is, the first multiple is 24. The second multiple is 48. That means 24 multiplied by 2 gives 48. Let's check again. 72 is the third multiple, and it is gotten by multiplying 24 by 3. 96 is the fourth multiple, and it is gotten by multiplying 24 by 4. What do you notice? That means subsequent multiples, common multiples of of two numbers, will be the multiple of the first common multiple. What do I mean? These multiples, they are multiples of the first common multiple. So 24 is like the multiple here, and 48, 72, and 26 are the common multiples, and they are also multiples of 24. Now let's look at least common multiple, which is the LCM. Least common multiple. What is least common multiple? Least common multiple is the, just one number this time around, is the smallest positive multiple. That is the smallest multiple, not a zero now. The smallest multiple that two or more numbers share. The smallest multiple that two or more numbers that they share. That is the smallest number that is found both in the multiples of the first number and the multiples of the second number. Now, multiples of 6. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, just as we have listed. Then we have multiples of 8, just as we have listed the other time. We have 24, 48, 72, 96, and so on. The common multiples, just as we have learnt the other time, are 24, 48, 72, and 96, and so on. But the smallest of them, which is the lowest common multiple, also called the least common multiple. The least common multiple of 6 and 8 is 24, because 24 is the smallest number. 24 is the smallest number, so therefore the least or the lowest common multiple is 24. Can we take a short drill? Yes. So can you list the multiples, the common multiples, and the least common multiple of 6 and 7? Can you try it out? These are the multiples of 6. Take another minute, generate the multiples of 7, pause the video, and check the multiples of 7. Yeah, you're welcome. So check it now. Do you get it? These are the multiples of 7. What do they have in common? They are the ones colored in yellow. You can see it in orange color. You have the multiples of 6 and 7, the ones that are mutual. We have 42, we have 84. Can you list them out now? Take another 1 minute and try to list them out, and you're welcome. These are the multiples of 6 and 7, the common multiples of 6 and 7. We have 42, 84, 126, 168. Don't forget, you can see that they are what? They are all multiples of 42. Don't forget, they are all what? Multiples of 42. And the least common multiple of 6 and 7 is 42, because 42 is the smallest number here. Is the smallest mutual number between the multiples of 6 and the multiples of 7. You can see that 42 is the smallest number. Now let's look at our summary, because we have come to the end of today's video. You also always remember positive integers that you can use to generate your multiples are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Then you also need to know the multiples of a number. This is just a recap. Multiples of a number are what? They are those numbers that you generate or that you get from the product of that same number multiplied by positive integers, just as I've listed above. Then your common multiples are numbers, that is multiples that two or more numbers that they share. The numbers, that is the multiples that two or more numbers share. Then the last thing you need to know is that LCM is the smallest positive multiple that two or more numbers share. That is the smallest of all the common multiples. So thank you so much for joining this video, and see you in the next video. Bye.